Welcome to my next Lost. Season 3 episode review video. Before I get into that though, pretty important, if you're not caught up to the point where I am or rewatching or watching Lost, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you find if you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this detailed review any further to avoid any potential spoilers. In full disclosure, I've already seen the show Lost 3 different times. The last few times I binged it, and I wanted to let things resonate this time. So I'm only watching like 1 to 3 episodes per week, and it's one of my favorite shows of all time. Top 5 for sure. But I'm not the only one that's currently watching Lost. The legendary Crazy Coffee Man, who you probably see in various comment sections for Dexter, Lucifer, and Breaking Bad, is actually watching Lost for the first time. So, join us on the journey and let's discuss this awesome and amazing show. However, I don't want to see any spoilers in the comment section for episodes past this, because we don't know, as of this recording, how far along the legendary Crazy Coffee Man is. He's probably a couple episodes ahead. But we don't want to take the chance of spoiling anything, so no spoilers past this episode. So, with all that said, this will be Lost, Season 3, Episode 6. The title of this episode is called I Do, and this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. We start off with a flashback. Kate walks into a hotel room and opens a box containing a veil. A police officer at the door, played by Nathan Fillion, demands to be let in. Instead of a confrontation, though, the two begin to kiss and make love as they move inside the hotel room. Then we go to our current time. Kate is awakened by the warning alarm from Sawyer's cage. Sawyer, who is throwing rocks, does not seem to be in a good mood. Jack is shown Ben's medical tests. Jack's prognosis is that Ben's death is certain without surgery done yesterday. Ben assents to immediate surgery, but Jack scoffs and explains that he's not going to do it because he doesn't trust the others to keep their end of the bargain to free Jack, Kate, and Sawyer. He shouts angrily at Juliet. Ben says he is disappointed in Jack's decision, but with a weary smile on his face, Jack replies, "At least you won't have to be disappointed for very long." Back to our flashback. The man is Kevin, and tomorrow Kate and Kevin will get married. He calls her Monica. Interesting. Pickett explains to Kate that it is a time for work and Sawyer's getting a day off. Kate says that she and Sawyer are a team and she won't work without him. Pickett and Sawyer reluctantly agree and they go to the runway quarry. Locke tells Nikki and Apollo that Echo must have been killed by an animal, probably the polar bear. He decides that they will bury Mr. Echo where he died instead of taking him back to the beach camp because the other survivors have seen way too many funerals recently. When Locke sets off to fetch shovels from the beach camp, Saeed insists on going with him. Saeed asks Locke what really killed Mr. Echo, and Locke says he does not have a name for the monster, and that he believes Mr. Echo died for a reason, but he does not know it yet. Because Saeed realizes they are not heading to the beach, Locke explains they are making a detour. During their shift at the quarry, an alarm announces a compound breach. Pickett orders guards to immobilize Sawyer and Kate, then exchanges information by walkie-talkie just as Alex charges in, using a slingshot to fire stones at the guards and urging Kate and Sawyer to flee. Pickett and Alex stand off, Pickett pointing his gun at Alex, and his actual name is Danny Pickett, so they call him Danny more times in this episode than they had previously done. And then Alex dares Danny to shoot her, shouting, "Where is he? What did you do to him?" and demands to speak to Ben. Pickett stalls and Alex is grabbed by another guard. As Alex is dragged away, she warns Kate, "Whatever they tell you, don't believe them. They're going to kill your boyfriend just like they killed mine." Juliet arrives and confers with Pickett before politely asking Kate to put on a burlap sack hood. Juliet tells Pickett aside that our schedule has been moved up 2 weeks, while Pickett replies, "That's stupid," and Juliet confirms that they called. It's just the way it is. Pickett, or Danny she calls him. Kate refuses the hood at first, but gives in after Juliet says it's the only way to prevent Pickett from killing Sawyer. Back to our flashback. While Kate dresses for the wedding ceremony, Suzanne, Kevin's mom, gives her a locket passed down through the family. She explains that her own mother had given it to her on their wedding day, saying that one day she could give it to her daughter when she married. Since she only has 4 sons, she is giving the locket to her soon-to-be daughter-in-law. Kate tries it on and says it's perfect. Kevin and Kate marry after the priest speaks of Kate's honesty. Her name is Monica. That's not honesty. Juliet brings Kate into the aquarium to see Jack. Jack smiles when he sees her, but they are separated by the glass wall of his cell in the Hydra. Juliet leaves them in privacy, though Jack is conscious of the cameras. Ben watches Jack and Kate on the monitors. Jack and Kate ask each other if each other are okay, and Jack asks after Sawyer, and Kate. I must have messed up something here. Jack asks about Sawyer, but I put after Sawyer. Kate explains that they're being kept in outdoor cages and made to haul rocks for something big. When Jack asks if Kate has been hurt, Kate starts to cry. Jack begins to reassure her that things will be okay, but Kate blurts out that he has to do the operation. Jack glances at the spy camera and then asks how the others have persuaded Kate to urge him to do the surgery, what they offered her, what they did to manipulate her. Kate replies, "Nothing." Jack demands, "Then what are you doing here?" Unable to contain her emotions, Kate answers that they've threatened to kill Sawyer. Jack looks up at the camera before turning away in frustration and anger. Kate apologizes and insists that Juliet, promised that they would let them go if Jack did the operation soon. Jack asks Kate rhetorically, "And you believe them?" To which Kate answers, "I have to." Kate tries to plead with Jack, but he tells her, "We're done here." Kate pursues the point, but Jack looks up at the camera and says to Ben, "Hey, we're done here," then turns away from Kate. And then in the monitoring room, Ben, troubled, angrily tells Juliet to get her out of there. Back to our flashback. Kate is adjusting to the facade of domestic housewife. She leisurely strolls through the grocery store to pick up dinner. It is taco night. Then she exits the grocery store to call Edward Mars through a payphone. Kate pleads for the U.S. Marshal to stop chasing her. During this, Mars has secretly hand-signaled for his colleague to trace the call. Mars continues to speak with Kate through the phone during this. He correctly guesses that Kate has become involved with a man. She confirms it, even admitting to loving Kevin. After pestering to be left alone, Mars claims that he will stop chasing her if she can stay put in one place and settle. He then asserts, however, but you and I both know that's not going to happen, before Kate is forced to end the call abruptly. Her track timer goes off to avoid tracing. And then back to current time. Kate is returned by Juliet to her cage. Sawyer is violently returned to his cage by Pickett. Locke gives a brief eulogy at Mr. Echo's makeshift grave funeral, and as he plants Echo's stick, he sees the quotation engraved on it, Gen 13:14, "Lift up your eyes and look north." Kate then tells Sawyer that she saw Jack and that he is being ordered to perform an operation on Ben. Sawyer asks, "Who's Ben?" And Kate explains, "Henry, the man who brought us here." She becomes increasingly desperate at the idea of Pickett killing Sawyer, pointing out that he's been looking for a reason to do so, and climbs out of her cage. As Sawyer pleads with her to climb back in, she breaks off the lock to his cage and then tells him to run. When Sawyer refuses to escape, Kate demands to know why, and he tells her they are on a separate island about 2 miles off the shore from their island. So unless you're a mermaid or you've got a boat, there's nowhere for them to go. She is angry that he hasn't told her this sooner, to which he explains he wanted to have some hope that they would have a damn chance. At this, Kate kisses Sawyer, then he asks why. She responds tenderly, I don't know, and he kisses her back. Soon they are removing each other's clothes and making love. So we thought that Kate was probably going to end up with Jack, and it looks like she's going to go the route of Sawyer. What a pick. Back to our flashback. With 6 months having passed since their wedding, Kevin surprises Monica with 2 plane tickets to Costa Rica for their promised and delayed honeymoon. Kate's anxiety emerges once Kevin excitedly tells her to get her passport ready. Back to current time, Sawyer asks if she only said she loved him to get Pickett to stop beating him. She says nothing in reply, but sits up and kisses him and then cuddles back into his arms. He smiles and says, I love you too. Jack is lying on the table in his room when he hears static from the intercom. He approaches it and speaks into it, trying to get a response. A female voice says, try it. The door. He finds the door is unlocked and explores the hallways, venturing inside the room with the closed-circuit TV monitors and a cupboard full of guns. Jack takes a handgun, checks to see if it's loaded, and begins to leave when he notices one of the monitors. Kate and Sawyer are cuddling post-coitus. He looks down, hurt. However, Ben walks in on him, and Jack holds him at gunpoint. Ben expresses his surprise about Kate and Sawyer, stating that if I were a betting man, I would have picked her and you. And then Jack becomes angrier, but instead of refusing further to do the surgery on Ben, Jack agrees. He tells Ben that when he's done, he needs to get the hell off this island. Ben says, done. Back to our flashback. Kate becomes upset after fearing she is pregnant. Despite the results being negative, the concept of her pregnancy as a fugitive still leaves a lasting emotional toll on her and her ability to maintain her ruse as Monica. And then while Kevin's finishing an intelligence report on a fugitive recovery out of Tampa, Kate finally confesses the whole truth about her identity and status as a fugitive herself. Unbeknown to Kevin, she has actually drugged him to prevent other people suspecting he knew her true identity. As soon as her husband passes out, Kate puts the locket that Kevin's mom gave her in his hand and goes back on the run again. Juliet puts Ben under anesthesia and Jack begins the operation. Pickett in the observation room leaves. Tom and goes with another man to Sawyer's cage. Shepard wasn't on Jacob's list, he says. It is raining and Kate wakes Sawyer up. He orders Sawyer to come with him, although Kate, knowing that Danny Pickett, whatever you want to call him, is going to kill him, refuses. During the operation, Jack purposely cuts a small incision in Ben's kidney sac and then knocks out the other man in the room, leaving Juliet, Jack, and Ben in the operating room. He orders Juliet back away from the table. Tom is shocked. Jack tells him that Ben has an hour to live and demands the walkie-talkie so he can speak to Kate. Sawyer hits the man accompanying Pickett and tries to steal Pickett's gun, but the other man holds Kate at gunpoint. Sawyer is forced to let go, despite Kate telling him to fight. Pickett takes Sawyer outside the cage and puts him on his knees, about to shoot him in front of Kate. Sawyer is ready to die. As Pickett is about to shoot, Tom calls on the walkie-talkie, his call comes on through the walkie-talkie, ordering him to give the walkie to Kate, or else the doctor is going to kill Ben. Pickett reluctantly gives Kate the walkie-talkie. Jack tells Kate she has an hour head start and asks her if she remembers the story he told her on the beach day, on the day the on the beach the day of the crash. I can't talk all of a sudden now. Kate says she remembers. Jack directs her to call him on the radio when she is safe and to tell him the story. Kate is distressed and hesitates, looking from Sawyer to the walkie, and says, "I can't leave without you." Jack responds by yelling, "Kate, damn it, run!" And that's what ends this episode of Lost. So a really good episode, better than I remember. I'm going to give the episode a 9.2 out of 10. I just felt like the things were really interesting and like some of the stuff was really intense. So I'm going to give Kate the character of the episode, Sawyer the secondary character of the episode, and Jack the secondary character of the episode. They all had really good performances. Ben's performance was good but limited. Juliet's performance was limited as well but very good. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Lost and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button. Otherwise, you'll get stuck on the island. Share the video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are when it comes to this episode of Lost. What would you rate the episode, and who would you choose as characters of the episode? Obviously, Kate is the whole focal point, so she's got to be at least the main character. But who else would you give it to? Maybe even Pickett. And, of course, you'll be interacting with me and the legendary Crazy Coffee Man. So remember, no spoilers past this episode, but leave me all your thoughts. And then last, but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, share your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know where you're going to see on JDev TV.